Hello. I don't think anybody's on yet. What's up, Obi? We're trying to get people moved over here because of the challenges. Hey, Obi, will you send the link out so that people have it, so that they know that we're talking here? Because we faked people out. Hello, HC. I'm not sure. Hi. We got some more people joining here. Let me get off of WhatsApp. There we go. Yeah, I think we need to get the link out. So if you guys can put that link off in a Telegram chat and community chats, and then also in the Twitterverse. Hey, Andrea. We got a small group here today. Apparently nobody's that excited about listening to me talk about the market. But we'll wait for a few more people to get on here. Are we getting the link in the chats? Is that a yes or a no? Can you guys hear me? Somebody type. Hey, Jim. Links in both chats. Yes, you guys can hear me. Okay, so some more people are joining. Hey, what's going on, guys? Sorry about that. Apparently, I have to request permission to go live the first time 24 hours prior to going live on my channel. So I guess it wasn't meant to be for Curse Words and Crypto tonight. So we'll do a live stream action on the Dexio channel. It's probably more appropriate to talk on the Dexio channel anyways, because I think we're going to talk a lot about Dexio tonight, but I don't want to take a huge amount of time here, and I do want to answer questions for people who have questions about what's going on. So I have been encouraged by my attorneys not to say things as they relate to specifics, especially as they pertain to our future plans, as they relate to things that are going on here. So there's some things I'm not going to talk about, but in any event, don't say it. I won't say it. I didn't say it. I didn't say anything about it. So it's not a bad thing, you guys. It's that we just need to be careful about what we are talking about in terms of our future plans, given some of the uncertainty of especially some of the uncertainty of things right now. I'm not going to say anything specific. Okay. So how is the future of Dexie? Well, the future of Dexie looks very bright, and I'm going to get into that here in a minute. We've got a few people on this live stream. I'm going to wait a couple more minutes here and see if some more people join. And then obviously we'll address questions. Andrea is going to compile questions for me and then shoot those over to me on Telegram, which I will answer towards the end here. Like I said, I'm only probably going to talk for about 20 or 25 minutes about what's going on and how it affects Dexie, and then move on. So small crowd tonight. People are just so beaten up by the market that they just don't even want to think about it anymore. Which actually, I do know a lot of people. I had direct messages and spoke to some friends, a lot of people that were basically just like, well, I'm not going to look at it and walk away from it. And, I looked at the total crypto market chart, and this is not even as low as we got in July. It's not even as low as we got at the end of last May, in terms of total crypto market cap for the total space. So I think we're at about 1.5 or 1.6 trillion right now, and we got down to like 1.4 in late May, and then in July we got down to like 1.2. So the whole space is definitely reeling from what has happened, but we certainly are not, as low in terms of market cap as we were as a whole entire crypto space even a year ago. So it does seem like this is kind of a repeat of last year, where we had a very nice bull run in April and May, and then kind of got pummeled in late May, and then had a little bit of a recovery in June, and then got pummeled again in July. I think BTC hit 27,000 also in July of last year, so it hit 26,000 last night. So it's pretty I think it's pretty consistent with what happened last year. So, all right, doesn't seem like we're gonna get that many people on. So this is being recorded. It'll get posted to the YouTube channel so other people can watch it, and you guys get a lot of specific attention from me. So let's talk about what happened. So there's been, obviously everybody knows Terra collapsed, and it has to do with the relationship between Luna, their native coin of their network, and their stablecoin UST, that is an algorithmic stablecoin. They were using a basket of cryptos to try to provide liquidity and balance that liquidity against the US dollar. And when BTC crashed, it caused a liquidation. Now, it's a little bit more complicated than that, because there was something that happened with Anchor Protocol, which is a Terra-based network, is on the Terra network, is a layer 2 network on Terra. And there's rumors circulating about people from Citadel and BlackRock doing backdoor deals with Do Kwon from Terra. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's being said about this. I've seen some blockchain transactions that are pretty weird, and I haven't looked that closely into it. There's been some people who've done some pretty decent investigations on it. It does seem like there was a coordinated attack. It does seem like it was orchestrated to some degree. It also very much looks like the UST stablecoin itself was set up in a way that was like almost doomed to fail. So, I actually, when I first heard about UST, I thought it was really interesting. The idea of having a basket of assets in your liquidity pool to balance your liquidity seemed like a really cool idea. Actually, it was an idea that Don and I had independent of ever learning about UST. But in any event, having it based on crypto and then leveraging it against the minting of your native coin, to that seemed like a very bad idea. So anyway, so obviously that whole situation has crashed. It's not really clear what's going to happen. If I'm taking my Dexio Protocol Chief Operating Officer hat off and putting on my speculative investor hat, I would say that it is very likely that fresh venture capital will flood into Terra. Terra is a pretty comprehensive network. There's a lot of tokens on Terra. There's a lot of opportunity there. I think probably some opportunistic venture capitalists are going to get involved there and probably try to salvage what's going on there. I don't know that it's going to completely crash and just go away. I'm not sure that that's going to happen. And Do Kwon has connections to a lot of major players in the crypto space, and clearly, may have connections with people in finance. So I think that they are going to try to rescue that to some degree. So what does that mean for us? Obviously, the whole market has crashed. We've been getting pummeled for months. There's no way around this. We're over 95% down from our ATH. We've had consistent downward trend in the token prices for the last couple of months, when we've been pounded, and there's no way to there's a number of different factors that are going on. But as I've said in the chat, and I will continue to say, and I mean, is that the forest fire analogy. Okay, there is a whole bunch of crap in the crypto space. All right, there's a ton of senseless meme coins, obviously rug pulls and honeypots and all kinds of scams. There's these ridiculous coins launching saying that they're going to give out 150,000% APY. I mean, it's just totally absurd. So there's a lot of crap, and there's a lot of scamming going on really at every level. Okay, so there's like low level scammers who are like, people are like, hey, we'll do marketing for you. Just, give us a BNB or what. I mean, there's like low level scammers, right? There's like, you know, fairly unsophisticated but higher level scammers that are making like scam groups and passing around scam links. And then there's like, people like Michael Patron, who, was Quadriga CX and, later Wonderland, high level scammers who are, getting into high level positions and are running, high level scams. And then there's, scamming going on the, the attack side of things in terms of hacking. And then, of course, there's even higher level, what I would call scamming going on with the finance industry, and, with major players, trying to manipulate the price of different cryptos. So there's a lot of really kind of bad things going on in the midst of a lot of really good things going on, right? There's, this amazing technology that, blockchain is definitely the future. There's a lot of really innovative stuff happening. There's a lot of really smart, enthusiastic people in the space. So situations like what has happened over the course of the last couple of months, and then obviously accelerated in the last couple of days, is what, the analogy that I use for a forest fire, I think is actually the right analogy. So forest fires are not good, right? Especially for people who live in the forest, but actually natural, not, man-made forest fires are really bad. But anyway, so natural forest fires, they do happen. It is sort of a natural part of the forest life cycle, and it does clear out all of the dead wood, the rot, the underbrush that is kind of choking the forest floor, and it deposits much needed minerals back into the soil. And most forests that have been, through that cycle tend to, really blossom afterwards because of the regenerative process, right? So that's a long-winded analogy. I think we're in the midst of a kind of forest fire. There's a lot of projects that, maybe they have good intentions, I don't know, but they're really not doing anything. And that's where I think, Dexio is really, I know that we are really different. The vision and the mission of Dexio the entire time has been to build products that people can use that do one of three things that I've always talked about. They either solve a problem, make something more efficient, or provide some kind of value in somebody's life, and in not quantifiable value, but qualifiable value, entertainment, or something that brings people joy, right? So that's the kind of products that we're creating, and that's the ecosystem that we're building around that. And this situation is going to clear out a lot of the trash that is kind of us connecting with the right investors, connecting with the right people who want to be invested in a good project. As I've said, it's very hard to be the loudest person in an already loud room. In fact, it's impossible for, at least for us. And this is going to clear a lot of people out of that room so that we can get noticed. And I think that this is an important part of this process for the entire space and for us. And so when all this is going on, the token prices are crashing. Of course, I don't like to see that stuff. As I've said many times to many people, I am the biggest, outside of Don, holder of Dexie that there is. And also of Dexie gas. So, I have a, obviously huge vested interest in making sure that the tokens do well and that the company does well. And Don and I are equal partners and owners of the actual business of Dexio Protocol, which is a registered corporation in the state of Delaware now, which is very cool. So we can take on investment capital from the equity side now. So that's very cool. But, we don't want to see things like this. Obviously, we want to see the token prices going up. We want to see volume. We want to see, we want to see the market doing well in general. But this is kind of part of the process. And the difference between people who do well in, these cycles and people that don't, are people who do well, stay calm and they collect rather than, they either hold or they DCA their positions in order to have a stronger place when things come out of a cycle like this. And I wasn't around for the 2018 crash. Don was, I was around, but I just wasn't involved in crypto at the time. I mean, I was kind of paying attention to it from the outside. I wasn't invested or involved in projects. I was, actually, was invested for a short time in, I think, 2017, but um, might have been early 2018. But in any event, when the whole crash cycle happened, I was not involved in crypto, but Don was, and we've had a lot of discussions about that. And this whole cycle is sort of looks a lot like that. Um, I was intimately involved in the stock market during the 2008 great financial crisis, and I made a lot of money. I did trading financial stocks during that time period because I was uh, not afraid to look at the situation clearly and to invest in things that I knew were going to go back up. And so I did. I made a lot of money in that cycle. I know a lot of other people lost money, but I did well. And I didn't do well shorting things. I did well by buying stuff when it crashed because I knew it would go back up, and selling it when it went back up. So and that's how I've always made all of my money investing. I've never been a short seller, done longs or anything like that. So I never invested on margin. But so I think the best thing that I can tell people who would be listening to this live stream is that the most important thing that you can do is just to stay calm and don't freak out about any of your investments, whether they're Dixie Gas, anything that you're invested in. That if you believe in what the project is doing, if it's doing things that have real utility, if it's backed up by a docs team that you feel confident about, their commitment and their expertise, then I would suggest seeing that through rather than selling at a loss. Now, as I've always said, and I will continue to advocate for this position, I am not you, and I don't have any idea what's going on in your life, and I'm not managing your investments. And people should sell their assets whenever they deem that to be necessary. But I strongly discourage people from doing that in panic and fear. That's not a that's not a good way to make money. It's a definite way to lose money. Okay, so if you're freaking out and you're selling, your assets in panic or fear, you're definitely losing money. And you may be making a good choice in the sense that maybe it's going to go down further and not come up. That's what the thinking is, right? It's like, I got to get out now and get what I can. And that's, not a bad thing to think about some things that you're invested in, I'm sure. I certainly don't feel that way about Dixie or Gas or about, several other investments that I have in the crypto space. So, a bunch of my bags are way down. And I'm not selling anything. I haven't sold anything. I've been buying stuff. And I'm going to continue to do that while things are cheap. And I suggest that if you can, you do the same thing, or at least you hold your bags and see things through. Markets work in cycles. And, I think there was a lot of people who were panicked and feared during the cycle in, late May last year, 2018, as I said. And they regretted dumping, right? I actually talked to a friend of mine a couple of days ago who bailed out of BTC in, I think, June or July of last year, at a pretty significant loss from his position. And then when it went back up to 67,000, he was like hating himself. So do I have price predictions about what's going to happen to BTC or the rest of the market or Dixie or Gas? No, you guys know I don't make price predictions. But I do think that it's a very good idea to take a step back, look at the cycles of the market, and look at fundamentals and make decisions about your investments on that basis. And, again, as it pertains to Dixie, we've come a very long way. We're the Dixie Hunter, our flagship application that we've been working on for a year, is in beta. We're about to make a bunch of improvements to that. We have been approved for the public beta for iOS, which is a big deal. We were having some trouble with that because of the because of the way that we were doing the login system and being bounced out of the app. So we changed that, and they approved us for public beta. So that's a big deal. That's a huge step towards getting it approved actually, fully on the App Store. We have a couple of different options in the way that we want to do that. So if for some reason they don't approve what we're doing now, we have some options to change some of the mechanics to fall in line with iOS's terms and conditions for developers. But we do think it's going to be approved in the format that we have it. We have Dixie Nights out. The PvP is working. The MMR mechanics are working. We're getting ready to go into season 1 for the whole play to earn stuff. Dexie Dragons is, more or less done. We have some mechanics to add to that. There's a lot of things that we're doing that, we're kind of at the precipice of. And the timing of this crash is, some people, think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. I think this crash is a good way to kind of clear out the mess and, shine light on things that actually have value, that are good, like us. And there's a lot of other projects like us that are doing really cool things that are, have utility and are building an ecosystem and doing something that's, as I said, solving a problem, making something more efficient, or adding value to people's lives through their products. And I think that this forest fire is going to clear the way for more attention to be brought on those things. So none of this has changed our resolve. None of it has changed anything about the way that we see ourselves in this industry, the way that we see what we're doing. And in fact, it's in some ways it's kind of motivated us, those of us in the core team and the developers, to kind of accelerate the process so we make sure that we can, be fully ready as people are looking for new projects to invest in. And, also we are getting like, I don't know, 3 or 4 emails a day from different types of investment companies who want to invest in the token, who want to invest in the business itself. There's a lot of people out there that are looking for good things to invest in. They see this as a great opportunity to invest, at a good price, I think, which is smart. And they're talking to us, and they're legitimate, companies, large corporations from New York and in Europe and all over the place. So we haven't made any decisions about that, but obviously we're going to raise money, and that's how we're going to continue to push the project forward in terms of paying our developers and for all the things that we have to pay for. And I'm not worried about that at all. So I think that we've never been dependent on the price of the token for, for any of that stuff. We've raised money from all different types from OTC deals, from ourselves, from some investments that we've made. So, we're going to continue to do that. So I think the most important thing to take away from today's little chat is that we have not stopped doing what we're doing at all. It's been a very chaotic couple of days, and obviously it's been scary for a lot of reasons related to the stablecoin situation. I mean, having a major stablecoin fail is a pretty serious thing, and it's worrisome. But as I've said many times, and I'll continue to say, the fact of the matter is that the crypto space is in desperate need of healthy regulation. I'm going to continue to say that and advocate for that. We need regulators. And there's been some news lately that, clearly shows that some of the even bigger exchanges and crypto companies are concerned about these things. And we need to have rules in place that protect investors and, set a bar for businesses to operate in this space to prevent things like what happened with UST. The stablecoin market should be regulated. Regulators should have looked at that and immediately seen that it had a gigantic hole in it, which obviously manipulated. So I don't want to speak too much about that because I just don't know enough about it. It does seem like it was poorly structured at best. So in any event, I think that's enough of my talk today. If I see that you guys are texting a lot of things in here, which is cool. But I don't know if Andrea wants to post some questions to me, and I'm happy to answer them, about the general market or how they, things, pertain to Dexio. How would you describe the future of Dexio protocol? Do you think Dexie is in danger at this state? I'm positive, but I've never been in a crash with a young project. Follow-up. Can be said that Dexio protocol has the objective of enduring, getting through this bad moment in the market, different from Terra Luna. That's a great question. So I think the primary question is, do I think that Dexy is in danger at this state? No, I don't think that we're in danger. In some ways, the fact that we are as small as we are kind of shields us from the worst parts of a market crash like this, right? Um, we can. It's much easier for us to recover from a 50% decline in token price than it is for Terra Luna 2. It's going to be very hard for Luna to um, get back to, I think their ATH was like $115 or something. So it's going to be very hard to get back there, and they're going to have to. There's going to be a lot of trust that's going to have to be earned back. So we're crashing because of the general market conditions, not because of terrible mistakes that we made. No, I don't. I'm not in any way concerned about the future of Dexia protocol. I am actually even more optimistic about it because I think, as I said, this is going to kind of clear the way for us to be able to have a little bit more of the spotlight as we release these really cool products and bring people into our our ecosystem. So, and I've never been through a crash with the Young project. I've never been through a crash as a project owner and manager, but well, I guess that's not true. I guess I was, during the crash in July, but it's scary for sure. But we are in a pretty healthy position in terms of having products and being a utility-based project, and that's what's going to survive. CZ, the CEO of Binance, who I don't worship CZ by any means, but he does have some pretty good wisdoms that he puts out on Twitter sometimes. And one of the things he actually said in a tweet that somebody reposted in our Telegram chat was that the projects that are going to survive this are the projects that have real products. That's us. That's always been us. That's always been what we're trying to do. So, have we, hit a home run every time? No. But we've learned from our mistakes and we're getting better, and we have better and better products, and we have an awesome team around that. So I'm not worried. What does healthy regulation look like to you? Healthy regulation to me is a group of regulators that have industry knowledge, that are prevented from profiting from their position, operating in a totally transparent way to execute laws that were written by lawmakers who were being informed and advised by industry people with a track record of reputable and honest work. So how do we get there? I don't know. I mean, there's some people that are in the industry that I have a huge amount of respect for. In particular, there's a woman whose name is Caitlin Long, who is, I think, the founder and CEO of a bank in Wyoming called Custodia. I think she's brilliant, and I think that they should, that Congress, should form a subcommittee and put her in charge of finding the right people to draw up laws that can be executed. So, and people like her, but I think that that we should look to people like Caitlin because she's extremely smart and very knowledgeable, passionate about the industry, and also has a moral compass, which is a necessary thing in life if you're going to do good things. So that's what healthy regulation looks like to me. It looks like regulators who are empowered to enforce laws that were written by people who had the industry and the people in the industry, investors and projects, and employees, their best interests all in mind. So, what are your thoughts on stablecoins now? Obviously, UST has had issues. What about BSC, USD, USDT? What should we be watching for? Okay, so Andrea and Don and I spent a lot of time today and last night looking at USDT, because I think anybody in the space who's been around long enough there's something to be kind of wary about USDT in a lot of ways. However, it does look like they're well capitalized. They have been through worse. There has been worse cycles, and in fact, USDT, I think we figured out in 2017, did actually depeg from the dollar, and went down to 92 cents, at least for a time period. So, and it did recover from that. Now, there was much less volume and much less market cap at that time. So, I was concerned about USDT. I think not like super concerned, but I definitely had concerns about it. I think those concerns, I'm past those concerns. I think USDC, I think is well capitalized. USD is definitely well capitalized based on all of the numbers that we're seeing. It does look like everybody else is okay in terms of the major stable coins. Now, there's things that are like reporting as stable coins that don't seem very stable to me, so I'm not sure about those. But in terms of BUSD, USDC, USDT, I think all of those are okay. And but again, we need regulation in those areas. So please talk about the staking on LBank or on the upcoming wallet. Are we increasing APY, increasing the availability, doing any changes, improving staking availability or rewards, a way to help holders to not sell their investments? Okay, so we are in the process of vetting the staking and farming contracts that we have for the Dixie wallet and Dixie Swap. And we've been through several incarnations of those because we have found things that we don't like about them. We do need to put them through an outside audit process, and then we're going to launch them on the wallet. Now, I know this has been seriously delayed, but this is a pretty serious thing, and we can't have any potential backdoors or holes in it. So we're being very, very careful about this to protect all of your investments. The LBank on staking, the staking on LBank will end when we launch the staking on Dixie wallet, and we will encourage people to come over. But let's talk about APY. So having absurd APYs is a gimmick. It is not a sustainable thing. And even 50% APY is not a sustainable thing. Now, I recognize that there's projects out there offering people 100,000% APY or whatever. But all of these, DeFi projects or all these staking, rebase projects or whatever, they're all failing for a reason. Because if you have an interest rate that far exceeds the actual capital value, the long-term, projected value of something, it cannot sustain itself. What does that mean? That means that if you're generating more interest that you're distributing, then you're able to generate an actual capital increased value, then that's by definition unsustainable. Okay, the interest has to come from somewhere, and currently the 50% APY that we're offering people on LBank for Dixie and Dixie Gas is coming from our supply wallet. So we generated a huge number of tokens when we first launched, and so we've kept 100 billion of those in supply, and we're supplying the staking with tokens from that wallet. That is not a rational thing. Now, I know that like Hex, Pulse Chain, all this stuff, these guys are like locking people's stuff up for like, I don't know, like 8 years or some nonsense. I haven't looked at it that closely. That's a Ponzi scheme. I'm going to call it for what it is right now. I don't think that, our friend Alexander Lorenzo would appreciate me saying that about Richard Hart's project, but it is. It's by definition, it's a Ponzi scheme. So it's not actually bringing any value. There's no utility outside of the locking the tokens. It's just a good marketing scheme, and you can't do that. That's not a sustainable thing. And that is one of the reasons why the market is so volatile, is because a very small number of people get into these, high APY projects like Wonderland. The price pumps up radically, and then these people are like way in profit and they dump, and then the project can't sustain the APY anymore. And then everybody starts making a run on it, and then it crashes horribly. I mean, just again, look at Wonderland or Gyro or any of these, projects that are based on this. So, what Hex is doing is they're locking people's tokens up for these long periods of time, and they have a very charismatic individual in Richard Hart who is out there pumping that. But if you look at just the mechanics of it, that's not that's not real. You can't sustain that. It is impossible to sustain. So, and you'll see it won't be sustained. Um, you know, what happens when all of those tokens unlock? People that are way in profit on them, if they have buyers at that point, they're going to dump them. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. So we're going to create reasonable staking options for people to encourage people to hold and to stake with us, also so that they can become part of our protocol and part of our network, and become validators on the Smart Dexio network, and and provide people with a reasonable place for them to hold their Dexie and be rewarded with Dexie gas. Once we're on the Smart Dexio network, that we'll have staking contracts, Dexie for Dexie and Dexie gas for Dexie gas until we're on the Smart Dexio network. But they're going to be reasonable, and we haven't actually decided what the APY rates are going to be, but they're not going to be, certainly not going to be higher than they are in LBank. I hope that answers your question. And my phone went off here. So, is there a time frame for Dexie Hunter to open new locations? That's a good question. So we are making a whole bunch of improvements to the applications because there's the iOS version and the Android version. One of the things that we run into is that the app is like gigantic, and so it just in terms of the size of the actual application, and so we're having to make some adjustments to it so that it can be uploaded in the same version to the Play Store as akin to the App Store. iOS allows for a much larger file than Android does. So that's one of the changes that we're making. We're making a bunch of improvements to the overall user experience that from the feedback we've gotten from our current beta testers, and also some bug fixes and stuff. And then we're going to probably push it into like 20 or 25 cities immediately after that, and then get a bunch more feedback, get the whole request to retrieve blockchain assets mechanics totally down, and automate that, and then we're going to just go global. So the plan is that we're going to go global in well, it's like May 12th, so that's like 5 weeks from now is the plan. So June 21st. Don't hold me to that date. I'm not giving dates. We may run into other problems that we need to sort out before then, and of course we're always super concerned about security. So if we don't feel like something is super safe and secure for people, then we're not going to put it out there for them. But that is the plan. We're going to get it in a bunch more cities, and it's going to be awesome. It's really neat to see people collecting bounties all over the world. It's really wild. It's been a long time coming. So, any update on the mobile wallet approval? Why not release blockchain now, since you already have a use case ready? Will the release of Smart Dexio network depend on marketing conditions? Or you guys really release it whenever it is ready? So building your own blockchain is not a simple thing. And, we have several versions of the Smart Dexio network on testnet, and we just don't like what we're doing with it yet. And so we're playing with some different things. We are also completely overwhelmed with the other development of the applications, the gaming applications. And so, we're not super focused on the Smart Dexio network, and that's something that we need to be super focused on. So once we get Dexie Carnival out after Dragons, we're going to slow down product releases and just narrowly focus on improving those products and improving our ecosystem, and the marketing aspect of things, as well as put a huge focus from our dev team on the Smart Dexio network. So we can't release the blockchain yet because it's not ready to be released. It's not a finished product. So okay, are there any other questions? Any update on the mobile wallet? Oh, yeah, we need to get the swap functions and this and all the staking functions and all that stuff. We need to get all that stuff totally worked out before we push the mobile application for the wallet out to people. I know that this has been horribly delayed, but we actually we understand a lot of things that we don't want from Dexie Wallet 1.0, and so we keep running into things that we're doing, and we're like, ugh, we need to do this differently. And then, so as I've said before, there's no manual for what we're doing. There's no hey, this is how you do this. It's not like, it's not like a franchise of McDonald's or something where it's been done a million times before and somebody has like a, complete roadmap of exactly what to do and how to do it. We are constantly walking in uncharted territory. And as I said, in a previous live stream, when you walk on a path that no one else has walked on before, you often step in shit. And so we are building products and we're finding things that we like and we don't like, and we're getting excited about things, and wanting to put them out there, and then realizing that we can't, because they're not the way that they need to be in order. They're not at the level that they need to be at in order to that you deserve as our holders, as our customers, um, as our users, of our products. You guys deserve things to be great, and if they're not super great, then we don't want to put them out there. We've already rushed things out previously. So when swearing, I was promised cuss words. I did just say shit. So this is not curse words in crypto. This is Dexio Protocols page. So I have a whole opening line that I'm going to do for curse words in crypto, but that'll have to wait until I'm allowed to be on a live stream. I didn't realize I'd be sandboxed. In general, not because of the crash, did Dexio Protocol miss something to get on a big screen for investors or to get popular? You guys deliver everything what a project needs, so what are we missing? Yeah, so I think, well, first of all, we did have like a insane bull run in October and November, right? So we did get, a lot of attention, a lot of people pouring in. And, uh, you know, I've spent a lot of time looking at a lot of different charts, and our chart looks a lot like a lot of other charts where, there's this massive bull run and then people sort of, um, move on to the next thing, or, take their profits and move on. And we just didn't have the products in place to be able to hold on to that, I don't think, to really be able to capitalize on that. So it happened a little bit too early for us. Or maybe we just didn't have, we were a little too late with our products. Now we have the products ready. So I do think that the next time that we have that kind of light shined on us, that people are going to come and they're going to stay. They're going to stay for the products. And we've built a lot of utility for our tokens into all of our products. And that's really going to, shine through on the value of the tokens themselves. But it's also been our mission to create revenue streams that, from traditional business models. And we're very close to having all that stuff in place to be able to do that too. And so we're going to be able to bring on, investors into the actual business of Dexio Protocol Inc., as I said, is a registered corporation in the state of Delaware. So, yeah, I think this next time it's going to be, we're going to have that kind of rush, and then we're going to be able to hold on to a lot more of it, capitalize on it, and grow it from there. Are you going to increase the team size? I get the impression that you were finding that development is a bit trickier and takes longer than maybe you'd hoped. It is trickier. It is, I don't know if it's trickier, but anyways, it is complex. We are trying to do a lot of different products simultaneously. I did actually hire like 10 people, and they helped us with some of the things that we needed to have done. And then it became almost sort of cumbersome because there was almost too many people. I talked to a guy who, is Alex Mayer, who is is an interesting dude who's done a lot of stuff. And we were talking about the problems of having a large development team, and how sometimes having a smaller team that's more efficient is better than having a very large team, because you end up with a lot of people who are either doing the same job as each other or stepping on each other's toes. So we're not going to probably bring on any new people anytime soon. But we're always open to bringing on, especially more full stack developers and people who can project manage. So I don't think it's a matter of having more people. I think it's a matter of having more time to get the products ready. So, when are the updated dates for Dexy Dragons NFTs? We're going to do the Dexy Dragons NFTs probably, maybe 4 or 5 days before the release of Dexy Dragons, which we still have not decided on. We need to get the night stuff out. We finally have the MMR stuff working right, the PvP stuff working right. We're still trying to sort out exactly how we want to post and allow people to monitor the leaderboards. So we're working on that. We have a pretty complicated thing going on here, especially with Dexy Connect and everything else. So, rushing things out is that, especially right now, is just sort of senseless. So, we'll get the Dixie Dragon NFTs probably 4 or 5 days before the launch of Dixie Dragons, which I hope will be around the end of the month. But I'm not going to give any specific dates because there's still some things that we need to work out, and I want to get focused on making sure that we have Hunter, fully functional and rolled out, and obviously also Knights in its first season. So, we'll go from there. What are some of the things the beta testers of Hunter really liked, and what did they not like? Well, I think they liked being able to use it. There's some of the mechanics that like being able to use it. There's some of the mechanics that one of the things that happens in development is that Don and I have been working on Hunter for like a year. So, and actually like had an original team that made something that we could never get to work right, and it's sort of whole complicated thing. So, and then we had a new dev team and kind of started over. And in that process, we kind of added things on. So part of our interactions with the application are sort of intuitive, right? Like we kind of just automatically know how to, navigate around it because it's been built around our suggestions, right? And then when other people use it, they're like, it's not really clear to them certain. So the things that people haven't liked has been the not that they haven't liked, but that they've wanted to see improvements on have been functionality application itself. And then obviously there's bugs and trying to work through that people have been have noticed. I don't know, they've been frustrated by, but yeah, so by, but yeah, so I think the thing that people probably like the most about it is that they are collecting crypto and they're able to see it and find it, which is really cool. So, other than that, you guys, I think, we're almost at an hour here now. And so I think that we need to kind of wrap things up. There hasn't been a lot of people on the live stream today. So, I don't know if people are just tired or not awake yet or, but this will be recorded and posted to the YouTube channel. So, I do want to emphasize something I said at the beginning, which is don't react to this market in fear. Whatever you do, I've never told somebody that, they should or should not do anything with their money or their investments because I'm not you and I'm not living in your shoes. But it is never a good idea to panic ever. And then to take action based on panic. That's not a good idea. So, hopefully the general market conditions stabilize and we see, things start to move in a positive direction again. As I said in chat, I do think things will probably get worse before they get better. Maybe not for us, I don't think, but I think for the general market conditions. And we just need to continue producing products and building our ecosystem so that we're ready, for this next cycle, which will come. So other than that, I don't think that there's any more questions. That at least not that Andrea is feeding me. So you guys, thanks for joining me tonight. And as always, we're all available for your questions and concerns. I'm really excited about Dixie Knights. I'm really proud of Ovi and his team for everything that they've done, and obviously all the back end devs, Ben, Hamid, Iqbal, Michael, who have done a great job to finally get that operating. It was a pretty monumental task that I put on them, and that Don and I put on them in order to build this kind of super system that was the foundation of what's going to be our super ecosystem. And I think things are going to move a lot faster now that we have some of those really important pieces in place. So yeah, well, thanks you guys for being here, and stay strong, and yeah, all right, bye.